I have to tell you, this is the culmination of, oh my gosh, probably about 5 or 6 years of planning, a lot of hard work, a lot of thought, a whole lot of prayers, believe me, one of which is the scoreboard, and I'll explain that to you as this weekend transpires. But it all came together, obviously, in this ceremony here today, and thank God it's finally here. This is an exciting time for us. I think I was mentioning to someone, I've been here since 2000, a little after the 95-96 championship team, and I'm not so sure there's ever been more of an exciting day for Potsdam athletics than today. We're glad you're all here to celebrate it with us. Obviously, we have all sorts of activities planned for you throughout the day. And as I said, we're just so very, very excited about having this. We're very excited about having our championship 95-96 team here and all of their families. How about we give them a round of applause? And of course, our current teams, men's and women's team, who I think have already started eating. As I said, they have some things to do here in a few hours. Obviously, they need to get started. So we'll try and piece all of this in together as we navigate through the culmination being the induction of our 95-96 team into our Potsdam Hall of Fame. I want to take this opportunity before we do get started with the activities to introduce our interim president, Dr. Dennis Hefner. In a relatively short period of time, he has really maneuvered his way into the weaving of our athletic program and our athletic department. He attends so many contests throughout the year, has already, with our volleyball and soccer programs. By the way, both of which have qualified for the SUNY playoffs. Our men's soccer team is playing. Our men's soccer team is playing today in Brockport, the first round of the SUNY playoffs. Obviously, proud of those athletes. But Dr. Hefner has attended many, if not all, of our home activities, and we're really happy that he has done that, and look forward to hearing his opening remarks. President Hefner.
Well, I want to thank all of you for attending this induction ceremony. I want to welcome back our former athletes who are being honored this afternoon. This year is the 32nd class of the SUNY Potsdam Sports Hall of Fame's induction, and it really recognizes an accomplished group of athletes. Now, the Hall of Fame was initiated here at SUNY Potsdam in 1977, and we were the first school, both high school and college, in northern New York to start a Hall of Fame. And since that time, numerous schools and colleges have followed our lead. It's truly a privilege to welcome the talented members of Potsdam's SUNYAC Championship hockey team and also Coach Ed Sini. Now, some of you graduated in May 1996, so I never had the pleasure of seeing you playing. But for those that were juniors, sophomores, and freshmen on the team that we are honoring today, Mrs. Hefner and I saw you play. Now, at the time, I have to admit, we weren't necessarily rooting for you because at the time I was the president at SUNY Fredonia. I was appointed in fall 1996. But what I do remember is I remember, especially through the years, Potsdam having one of the best power play records in the nation. Every time a Fredonia player got a penalty against Potsdam, we would be wincing, going, oh no, we're going to be in for the shortest 2 minutes of our lives. Now, normally you say it's the longest 2 minutes, but unfortunately, it usually was much less than 2 minutes before there was a goal scored. But we have enjoyed seeing Potsdam play so many times. I was given some information about this team, I know, and it's a long list, but I'm going to pick 3 things. It set the school record at the time with 18 wins during the season. 3 members of this team, Coach Sini, Nate Sunday, and Steve Naughton, have already been individually inducted into the Bears Hall of Fame. And I do have to admit, I remember the name Steve Naughton, sitting there in the stands watching him score goals for Potsdam, and he went on to be Potsdam's 4th Hockey All-American 2 years later, back in 1998. Oh, yeah, let's give him a hand. But today, I want you to know, Mrs. Hefner, who is a big hockey fan, and me, I like hockey, but she's the real fan of the group. She's an avid fan. We are here cheering for this team. We are so pleased to be able to congratulate you on earning this distinctive honor. And not only have the members of this team made us proud on the ice, but your collective accomplishments since graduation have made your alma mater equally proud. Now, to finish my remarks, I want to thank everyone for attending today's induction ceremony. I want to congratulate our honorees. I want to express my appreciation for everyone in this room who has supported Potsdam athletics, and I certainly hope to see all of you out at the 2 games today, the 2:30 women's game, the 7 o'clock men's game, as we dedicate our newly renovated ice arena with 2 special puck drops. So with that, have a wonderful lunch, and thank you for attending the induction dinner. Luncheon. Bruncheon.
For both. Thank you, Dennis.
Thank
you. President Hefner, you may not know this, but Steve actually scored, and if you can imagine this, 6 goals in a game. And the question I asked his teammates was, you know, how do you do that? And of course, their response was great passing. When I asked Coach Sini, his response was great coaching. So I don't know if I really got the straight answer there, but that's an unbelievable accomplishment, as we all know. Hey, there's a couple of folks, before I turn this over to Coach Sini for the ceremony, there's a couple of folks that I want to recognize from our department. Unfortunately, one of which is not here today, but you will see him throughout the games, and we're actually going to recognize him, kind of a surprise to him during the men's game later this evening. His name is Jamie Hoos. He's our assistant athletic director for facilities and recreational sport. Jamie was the point person for the renovation project, and unbeknownst to him at the time, we also, and if you haven't seen our field house when you get over there, take a look at that as well. That went through a major renovation project, and we also did some work in the pool. So not only did he have the arena, but he had a couple other projects going on at the same time. So he was pointed in a lot of different directions, some of which he didn't want to go down, but he did an absolutely fabulous job. And I wanted for him to be here this morning to receive his recognition, but he called me about 9:45 and said, Jim, I'm running behind with some things in the arena, so I can't make it to the ceremony. But in his absence, I wanted to let you folks know of the hard work that Jamie put into this. I think I left last night about 9:30, and he was still putting some finishing touches on the arena itself. So you will have a chance to meet him, and please say hello to him and thank him for his work. The other, who was also there last night, well past the hour that I left, is our Assistant Athletic Director for Fundraising and Compliance, Bill Mitchell. And his, thanks, Mitch. There is probably a more creative person in this world, but I'm telling you, I'm not sure I've met him. And some of the little touches that Mitch put to the arena, again, I'm telling you this in preparation of you getting over there, but a lot of the little things came from Coach Mitch. We appreciate your work and dedication to the project, Mitch, and work throughout. Also, 95, 96ers, if you haven't gotten your tickets, or we have some other little trinkets and things for you, see Coach Mitchell, and he'll see it that you get your stuff. So with that, this is such a rewarding day. Obviously, I mentioned that at the beginning, but I came here in 2000, and Coach Sini was our men's hockey coach at the time. And I want to just tell you a quick story about Coach Sini. He's heard it before, and probably some of you have as well. I was obviously brand new to Potsdam. I think I had been here for about maybe not even a year. I think that might have been my first year here. And I'm a basketball person. I was a former college basketball coach, and the first time I had the opportunity to be an administrator for a college that sponsored the sport of hockey. So it was relatively new to me. I grew up in Western New York and the French Connection and those kinds of things. So I had an understanding of hockey, but certainly not like the inner workings of it all. And so our first big competition that we played in that particular year was at Norwich in their new facility. Was it Norwich or Middlebury? Middlebury. Oh, it was at Middlebury, Norwich, at Middlebury. And they're great teams, as you hockey folks out there know. And so I drove over to the game. And, if Eddie's team didn't beat them, I think it was a 4-3 final score, a fabulous, fabulous game. And so I'm all excited. I go down into the locker room, and there's Coach and his players, and I had a name tag that he had given to me of a healthy scratch. It wasn't even my name, but it was a healthy scratch. But I felt good about the whole thing. So I said, Coach, congratulations. What a fabulous win. He said, thanks, Jim. He said, here's the pizza list. If you would run down to the pizzeria and get pizza for the players, I would sure appreciate that. Now, I thought that was just like what athletic directors do for the sport of hockey. So I was the pizza runner for Ed's team that year. But Ed has had a fabulous, fabulous career, as you all know, and his players here are here. I guess they came here because of him, and they came back again because of this special day and because of the work and the dedication that he has put into our hockey program throughout. He is now the head coach, as everyone knows, at St. Anselm's, and they will be back a little bit later in the winter to play our team. So we'll look forward to kind of getting together with Ed once again later on in the year. But without any further remarks from me, I want to turn this over to Coach Sini, a Hall of Famer in his own right, for his remarks and the induction of our 95-96 team into the Potsdam Bears Hall of Fame. Coach Sini? All right, Coach. Pizza's downstairs.
If I speak from here, can you hear me? I kind of feel awkward up there in front of the podium. I've seen most of the guys. I haven't seen a couple of you. I'll see in a few minutes. But I want to let everybody know here that there's not a day that goes by that I don't think about that team that we had in 1995. There's pictures in my office. I have a puck. You guys remember Butch Martin's the referee. He used to ref a lot of our games. And when the game was over, he came over and slid me the puck. And I still have it in my office. And the thing I remember about that team, I got a phone call from the idea of the team at Potsdam. I want to know what made that team special. And having coached now for 33 years, it wasn't about talent. It was about the way you guys play for each other. And as hockey keeps going on and on and on, it seems to get harder and harder to get kids, young men to play for each other. It's kind of hard to describe it. If you look at the way junior hockey now is, there's not much high school hockey left. All the kids go to prep school and junior. And why are they doing that? They're all going to go to the next level. They go to the next level. Well, if you come to our level, Division III hockey, there are a few guys that might be able to play minor pro, but really nobody's going to make a living playing. And that group we had in 95, 96, we had guys, our top end guys were as good as anybody in the country. What I thought really made our team was the guys who are considered non-role players as far as they weren't expected to score, the guys who just went out there and played hard, they were as tight as a group I've ever seen. There was no jealousy. Pretty much, if we had a 1-goal lead and there was, a minute to go in the game, everybody knew what was going on. It wasn't really doubt. If we had to score a goal, everybody pretty much knew what was going on. Jim talked about the guys who made, first team SUNY. The guys are all Americans. And the best thing about the guys, Steve, Darren, Nate, what they had with a lot of kids on this, they were very humble. If they walked into a room, it wasn't like, here I am, I'm the guy. We had a good group of young men. We were driving up here today, and my wife and my son Garrett. I've been asking you questions, just to let you know, Garrett, he was 7, right? You were going to be 8? You're 8. You're 7. You're going to be 8 in October. I know. I know that. Garrett Moore were 7'5", and now they're 25 and 23. We're on the way up here from, my parents are in Lake Placid, so we stopped there last night. I told my mother, I bet you 10 times I was coming up to see her last night, and then I walked in, oh, what are you doing here? Her and my dad are 85 and 81. My mom used to call the game, just like your parents did. I remember Darren's mom, I think she fell down the bleachers and brought her home.
Still waiting for our carrots.
Too bad I wasn't at the Donnie when she got we were coming back, coming up from the class this morning, and Garrett was like, God, those guys played there. A lot of them are saying that they're now. He goes, some guys will be 40, some might be a little older. My wife goes, how long ago was that? I said 17 years ago we played in that game. And it's like, as a younger man, younger woman, you also hear your parents say to you, time flies. And as you get older, it's to think that I'm 54, you guys are in your 40s, 30s, with families, it is mind-blowing. But I can close my eyes to you guys, I can, look back and think of all the things that happened in '96 and remember them just like it was yesterday. And obviously, it isn't. Just a couple of quick things about that 95-96 game. We won some games. I know everybody thinks about it's a Plattsburgh game, but before we even got to Plattsburgh, we had to beat Oswego at home. And we were up the first night barely, like 4-2, I think, going third, so we ended up losing the first night. That's when they played that mini game format, which they finally got rid of. Really, really tough. And we ended up losing that game. The second, I felt like
That's my 3-year-old over there.
yeah, I can't sit you anymore.
Blame it on the kids always, don't they?
I would have got better today. I was late too. But that Oswego game, we were down after the first night. We had to win the second game, and then they tied the game to put a 1 for them. We had to pull the goalie. I can still remember Steve coming, kicked it, put Steve on defense. I remember Steve coming down, taking a shot. I remember Pete Chandler getting the rebound. Remember that, Pete?
Biggest goal of my life.
I wouldn't do it if I was scored a goal like that. But then, so we had what they call a mini game. And we won the game 5-4. And then we had the mini game. I think we played 3 10-minute games, and it was still tied. So we had overtime. And as John Warren made a comment to me, Tony Machinsky scored the winning goal in triple overtime, and he was the only guy on the ice. So the guys sitting back there, the players today, are going, how did that happen? Well, I think it was a 4-on-4 situation because I think we got penalties. So Tony brought the puck up the far side of the ring. I can remember that. He said he kept going, he kind of looked for anybody for help, and everybody's dead. So all 3 guys came out because they were tired. Oswego was tired. Tony just kept going with it. Everybody just kept backing up. Tony shot it. Rebound. Goal, and he turned around to celebrate. Nobody quite a night. That way they go to Plattsburgh, everybody goes to Plattsburgh. I've never seen that many people in that rink in my life. The longer the game went on, you know, and it's funny, when I was at St. A's, I hired an assistant coach. Here, when I first got down there, and he played with us. He was a kid, Pelletier. He got the tying goal. We were up 3-2 going third, and they scored the first shift in the third period. Remember that night, how loud it was in there? And he had to help me out a little bit. You know, so that mini game that we beat Plattsburgh, I tried to find the kid that scored the winning goal, a kid named Andy Schofield. And I don't know if he's left the country or... last I saw of Andy was, he came back as a sophomore, decided to leave school, he left a pair of shin pads on our desk, and I haven't seen him.
We'll send him a bill that
Yeah, it's hard to describe how that happened. And the other thing that ever since I've left here, I've never had anybody that could be healthy that I had here. I had the best manager / assistant coach / whatever you want to call him, Casey Nelson. I've never had anybody even come close to that, Casey, since I've been doing it. Tried. Man, oh man. You know, quick story about Casey. Casey did this thing that John Corn had before I got here. It's a thing called Back to Basics Hockey School. And Casey used to come every year. He lived in Bearsville. Just loved to play the game. Always working on his skating. And so we have 2 sessions. And Casey was always there for both sessions. John, but I think he's confused. I think he doesn't know what to do with Casey. You don't have to, no, I want to go both. I paid for both. I'm going for both. So he was our manager one year. When Binghamton had a team. They weren't very good. And so I said, Casey, you want to play? He's like, really? I go, well, you're also on it. You haven't fun. I go, keep yourself on. So Casey's out there. He goes, what do I do? I go in front of the net. We put him on a power play. So I said, just go in front. He goes, go in the corner. I said, Casey, stay in front of the net. We're trying to get you involved, just stay there. When he's on the net, he's battling, he's slacking. He goes, but he didn't listen to him. So he thought when we wanted to get in the corner, he got it. So, you know, the bench is still on the same side? Yeah. So Casey started going the wrong path. Comes out, he's got blood coming out. Oh, what did I do? I got a taste of it, and it was a nice gesture. I found our team to support everyone out there. They tried to get him goals so bad. And then I think he was one shift and done after that. And that's the thing you get from hockey. You know, the guys who have played it, and you guys still playing men's league. Yeah, putter. Sloran, yeah, putter. You become a sniper now?
Still rolling over girls' shoulders.
All those guys, they're talking about rowing the boat. We played Geneseo. Putter got a penalty shot, right? And these guys, our team didn't have much life for their coach. He came to our rink one year and said, this rink, and started talking about cutbacks. So this would be a nice place for Christmas. So he was one of those. So every chance we got to beat him, the guys enjoyed that. So plus, Casey was involved in it. So Putter gets a penalty shot and he scores on it. You know, he usually scores penalty shots. So here comes Sean back towards all by himself, slides on his butt like he's rolling the ball. And all I know is, I think the first word that matched was, McLean didn't do it. Whether that was true or not.
That's the only time he said that.
But I got looking at, one of the things I noticed, when I was looking at the beautiful rink, I found one of these things in my house. And I was looking through one of the last games of the year, we played Hobart at home. We knew we were going to play us to go in the playoffs. So we had one game left with Hobart. Get through this game, not get anybody hurt, we'll get to the next one. So we're beating like 6-2. It's getting really tricky out there. So I have a sheet I use for the games. I'm going, okay, we got about 2 minutes to go in this game. Who can I put out there? Shinsky, no way. Plain, no. Paris, no. Who can I put out there that's not going to do something foolish? So I put the putter out there, play Josh went out there, guys that are trustworthy. Guys that you know are going to, if a guy punches them in the head, they're not going to take their stick and whack. So all of a sudden, what's they go melee in front, the ref comes over and he says to me, Coach, I got 18 on spear. 18. Putter? Yeah, so as Putter coming over, he's such an honest guy. I go, Putter, two spear? He's like, so that man, he couldn't play against Oswego in the playoff game. He had to sit out the game. You know, so I'm like, play, you know. I couldn't understand why, but end up winning. We end up, he didn't play the first time, came back and helped out, and ended up winning that game anyway. But it's just some of the stories that you think about. And I also want to tell you, I see Bill and Captain Putnam here. I don't know how many meals you had at your house, but there's no way we can repay this. So thank you. Cameras over there from Watertown. I don't think they missed a game ever. Thanksgiving dinner. Either 95 or 96 that year. You ever get the bill for that? You ever get paid for that?
Coach Bennett.
But it's, you know, hopefully, I know I'm staying over tonight, we'll get a chance to talk and, you know, tell some stories. I know Garrett remembers a lot of them. My wife probably, she can't remember all of them because we've been doing this for 30 years. I also want to thank my wife Sandy for all those years she's been with me. Being a hockey coach's wife, she's different. I don't know. You know, she's not with me because of the money. I don't think.
Sandy, does he send you for the pizza too? I'm just wondering.
No.
He does that?
Jim almost talked about that pizza story, but it wasn't as bad as he and he made it out. Yeah. All for one and one for all. But before I introduce everybody else, before I introduce the 95-96 team, being a college hockey coach, you always have to give a lot of impromptu speeches between periods. You can't write anything down, like go in there and read stuff off. It just doesn't work. So on the way up here, and last night, and the months to come, I have trouble sitting down and writing what I'm going to say. Because you kind of get, you look around and see faces, and things just flash through your head really fast, you know. But one thing that I thought about, before I left, our last practice was Friday morning. I talked to our team a little bit. We have our first team was a week from yesterday. We open up. We have 12 new guys, so it's going to be a little bit different. But the thing I said to them about was the hardest day for me next week will be Thursday. Anybody know why? We play Friday. Why is Thursday the hardest day of the week for me first? I have to announce who's going to play on Friday night. So we have 20, I think right now we have 25 skaters, 3 goals. Well, only 18 of those young guys can dress. So as soon as I announce that lineup, you know, you'll have 18 guys. They're really excited. The other guys are going to be excited, but it's just a little bit different. And I said to them, if we can get through this year where when adversity hits you, you think about your teammates when you think about yourself, we can be pretty good. Everybody goes through it. Everybody's been through it in this group. I know I see a lot of guys. Yes, even Nodder sat. Yes, McLean sat. Yes, Machinsky sat. A lot of your top guys have sat games out. And what I've noticed, when your top guys, okay, when your top guys are your best people, game's pretty easy. Because some guys, if they don't play so well, and when an upperclassman plays a lot, approaches a young man who doesn't play, he says, hey, you know what? I appreciate what you do out here. It means a lot and you work so hard. For me, that's what it's all about. You guys, you think about the year that we won this. There's some stories that I probably don't even want to know. I remember the bus ride home from Plattsburgh to Potsdam. We had more people. I didn't even know who was even on the bus. Remember we had Big Tupper, Little Tupper on the bus. There was. I don't remember that. Oh, Pete Chandler's brother was on the bus. That's probably a violation.
I'm not listening yet, so
They're all down.
Pitch, plug your ears.
And one of the best things you guys remember when we beat I think it was Plattsburgh. We had at the hockey house. The AD brought a keg of beer over.
I wasn't the AD at the time. Or Dr. Hefner, believe me, I was not.
Those days are past. So all the guys that are here, and some of the guys that I talked to on the phone, a coach is only one. So when I get inducted into the Hall of Fame as a coach, it's kind of, it's kind of humbling because the reason we won, we had good players. I look back at it, and the teams I've had now and the teams that I've been through, we had some really good players, but we also had really, really good people. So like I said, when we beat Plattsburgh in that game, our so-called third line scored the winning goal in that game with 5 minutes to go. We had 5 minutes to go, and I know they didn't get on the ice the last 5 minutes. I know a lot of the guys. I even played 10 guys the rest of the way. And it was like guys dig in, and they were pumping guys up. It was electric on them. I can still remember when the thing went 0. And I'm sure you guys. The thing is, we'll never ever have that moment again. So hopefully you can share it with your family. That's kind of neat. You guys can still your family over here. There's another round. We'll drink that all memories. So I'll go through the list. Even the guys that aren't here, if you are here.
They come forward and get their plaque. Yeah, come forward and get your plaque, and then we'll arrange you over here, and Dan will get a picture of you. You call them up, Ben.
Okay.
Oh, wait a minute. We start with you. We start with you. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. This next young man is here. One of the toughest men that I've coached. Just real quickly before I introduce Josh, he got hit one game. I think it might have been his junior or senior year. He got hit. Said, "Coach, I don't feel real good." So he went in the locker room. Said, "I'll try it." He got hit. He left the game. I didn't see him. I think did you get your spleen taken out that night? Or yeah, I got his spleen taken out. So it was like, I feel all right. I can go back out there. I'm like, man, oh man. But one of the best conditioned guys I've ever had too, Josh Purcell. Number 8 is here. One of the youngest teammates I think that we've had out of high school, didn't you, Eric? Yeah, Eric was we had a lot of guys, even now in college, you get young men coming to school at 20, 21 years old as freshmen. I think Eric was 17, turned 18 his freshman year. I'm sure the older boys took you under their wing and taught you a couple of things. He as a freshman, he played real hard. Eric Updike. Nate is a Hall of Famer himself. Nate is a man of few words. But I'll tell you what, I've never seen a guy shoot a puck like that. Even to this day that I'm coaching, I've never seen a guy. And one quick story about Nate. We were playing Fredonia, Coach Meredith's team, and they played this 4 guys in center ice. I don't know if you guys remember that. They wouldn't forecheck. So I said to Nate, get the puck, skate as fast as you can, take a slap shot, and see if you can hit one of them. He goes, what if I ice it? I go, I don't care. They don't forecheck anyway, so just fire it. So Nate comes across the blue line, hits a kid right in the ankle. So I looked at Coach Meredith. I was like, are you going to play or? Because Nate hit him right. Do you remember that, Nate, or no?
I bet you the kid does too, Nate.
But one of the best defensemen in the program's history, Nate Sunday. Number 10, I think if you just said his number, everybody would kind of know who he was. Very, very noticeable player because of his ability. And it's funny, when we played Fredonia this year, one of the referees was a guy named Dan Murphy, who did a lot of our, I think, and he was asking about, he refed a lot of our games, but then he asked about Steve. And I said, how do you remember Steve? And he goes, he cut his blade off. He goes, his blade was like that long. He goes, how did he do that? I said, I have no idea how he did that. But I remember one game, we had to play Geneseo. We had some lineup issues, and we had to put Nodder back at D. And we ended up beating them 3-2. Nodder had an even strength goal, a shorthanded goal, and a power play goal. But after the game, you couldn't tell if he even played or not because he's that humble. One of the top players that I've ever coached, and one of the nicest young men I've ever coached, Steve Naughton. Number 11. Jay was probably one of the, is Neil here too? We had some of the most unbelievable shot blockers I have ever, like today, when I coach today, I can't get a guy to block a shot. It's like they have $1,000 of equipment on, and they give it I don't really want to block that because it might hurt, but I'll tell you, when Jay was playing with us, he knew his role. He wasn't an offensive defenseman by any stretch of the imagination, but he's a guy that when you had to kill a penalty, it was pretty much a given that if the goalie did make a save, it was because Jay missed it. One of the guys, one of the leaders of the team, Jay Paris. Like when I coach now, I always kind of remind players of each other, and I have a young man on my team now that reminds me of Rich, and I'll tell you why. He comes to practice every day, and I've never seen a young man work like this kid does. And Rich, all the years you played for us, you inspire me by your work ethic, and I think a lot of the guys appreciate every day how you were there. You know, you never complained. You played hard every game, and you were a great teammate. Come on up, Richie DiNicola. Who we got? The next player, number 14, Eric Fetcher, called me. It was either last year or 2 years ago. My phone rang, and I answered it, and he goes, Coach C, I don't know if you're going to remember me or not, but I was on that 95-96 team, and I just want to let you know I think about it almost every day. And I said, Eric, of course I remember you. I think sometimes coaches think that, our players think that coaches only remember the guys that played and got all the points, and you'd be surprised. And Keith, I'll get to in a second. A lot of times when guys will score a goal, I say to Keith, who scored that? It doesn't matter who. It's just all I know is us. We scored. And Eric, I do remember you being out there a lot, so don't think I don't remember you. But I just want to let you know, like you said to me, I think one of your comments was, I think about those guys a lot, and that was one of the best moments, one of the best times I've ever had in my life. Well, I'll tell you what, as a coach, that was one of the best times I had in my life, too. Eric Fetcher. I know the next guy's here, number 17. Oh, just so people know how smart I am as a hockey coach. Steve Naughton, obviously All-American, one of the top players in the history of the college. And Mike Peters, one of our top offensive players, I never recruited. Never saw him play. So I remember when Steve, that freshman year when they were out there practicing, I remember John Horn with his, I wish I had my glasses. John's glasses are always down here in his nose. John's watching him, he goes, looks at me, he's like, who's that? I go, I don't know. It was Naughton. So that just goes to show you, you just never know what you're going to get sometimes, and it's just weird how that happened. But Mike Peters is one of those guys. They used to call, I think John used to call him the big horse. He would actually, he would lug the puck out of the zone. He would just lug it out. Scored some huge goals for. I remember, it might have been his senior year. He couldn't come to the Fredonia. One of the games out west, your brother got married or sister, and then you drove out and you played the next night, right? Got a hat trick. After driving out all the way to across the state from New York City to Buffalo. Some guy says, "Well, coach, is he going to play? He's not here." Well, he went to a wedding. It's his sister's wedding. Yeah, he's going to play. And I'm glad he did. He had a hat trick, and he's one of our top players. Mike Peters. Number 18, one of our, great locker room guys that we've had in the history of the program. Tremendous skater, great penalty killer, ultimate team guy. I've never seen him without a smile on his face, ever. He's one of those guys, and if anybody's ever been around the rinks and been around youth hockey, there's nothing worse than players that are just miserable. They come to the rink every day, and it's like I said to one guy a couple days ago on my team, "What's wrong? What are you so?" "Well, I'm tired." "What are you tired from?" "Well, I got a lot of schoolwork." "Well, it's college." I mean, you think about all the other stuff, but Butter every day he came with a smile, worked hard, doesn't care who he plays with, doesn't care what he does, just whatever you need me to do, coach, I'll do it. And now Putter, you're in the Hall of Fame. Sean Putnam. Our next guy, number 21, Neil Pecor. Neil's from Oswego, and we probably ate, 10 to 12 meals down at his parents' house in Oswego. We pack them in there like nothing. Neil, your parents with you or no? There they are. Hey, there they are. I'm sure you guys remember that, don't you? And I remember Neil playing high school hockey for Oswego, and Neil's high school coach was an Olympian from Lake Placid, played goal in the 68 games, I think, goaltender named Pete Sears. So when I went down to watch Neil play, I asked Pete, I said, you coach him every day. I only saw one game. I go, what can you tell me about him? He goes, he's not pretty. This is his coach talking. Talking about him as a hockey player. He goes, he's a good-looking guy. He goes, he's not pretty. He goes, but what he is, he's a winner. No matter what it takes, he goes, no matter what the speed of the game, he'll adjust to it. And if you have to kill a penalty, if you want guys that are tough, if you want guys that are good team guys, take them. He goes, if you don't want that, then don't take them. Well, he came to our program, and you guys can attest. My son Garrett can attest to some of the shots he blocked. He'd go right down on his knees, take them off the chest. I'd be like, oh my God, are you all right? Yeah, coach, I'm all right. Well, let's get going here. But one of the top defenders we've ever had, Neil Pecor. The next player, local boy, hometown hero. John was one of those guys, I don't know how he did it. He could right now, if I had a stopwatch on me, he could go out right now and run a sub 6-minute mile without any shoes. I don't know how he did it. His line of Chandler, Machinsky, and Johnson got some real big goals for us down the stretch. I can remember that. He's just one of those guys, sometimes there's a song that always reminds me of Johnner. It's by John Cougar Mellencamp. It's I Fight Authority, Authority Always Wins. Because when Johnner sometime he had trouble keeping track of his stick. It always ended up a little high somewhere. But He could play. He's like I said, he scored some big goals for us. Another guy that always infectious as far as his attitude is always positive. He just came to the rink every day and worked hard. Jeff Johnson. Our next guy. I could spend a lot of time up here talking about Tony, but hey, Tony, I will give you one thing that I've never seen since I've left coaching you. You want to know what that is? No, Tony sometimes he got the manager from Southern Maine mixed up with one of the players. Kind of hit the wrong guy over there. That's okay, Tony. Tony, though, I'll tell you what, his senior year, he was commuting back and forth from Watertown for student teaching. So he was getting up at what time? 4 o'clock in the morning, going to Watertown, coming back for practice. And, you know, as sometimes Tony and I butted heads as far as trying to keep him out of the penalty box and all that kind of stuff. But you know what? When it was time to play and toughness, Tony was one of the guys out there. And Tony, like I said, I'll never forget that goal you scored. I think I've seen it in my head, you know, numerous times. And I just want to let you know that I learned a lot from you too, just by, you know, trying to handle young men and trying to reach different people different ways, because it is different. Everybody's different. And I'll tell you what, I wish I had a lot more Tony Machinsky's on my team right now, because we'd be a lot better off. Tony Machinsky. The next guy, a little bit of local flavor, Watertown, New York. Probably one of the toughest pound-for-pound young men that I've ever coached as far as just how hard he played the game. I think he played linebacker in high school. Is that correct, Peter? What are you, 5'9", 150? 175, okay. Holds the record for tackles over at Watertown High School. And I saw Peter play high school, and, you know, this day and age, well, can he play? Because he's, you know, he only played high school, he didn't play junior hockey, he didn't play prep school. And everybody here on our team will tell you, yeah, he can play. He ended up, you know, being one of our top guys as far as point production, his time here. And just, all I can remember about Pete is he never had a say-die attitude. He just, every day was like, when he practiced with a purpose, and he hated to lose. And like I said, he was tough. I don't know where he got it from, but I'll tell you what, when he got it going, he was one of those young men that you could see it in his eyes. He had that look in his eye. Like, you couldn't really talk to him. It's like, get those eyes going, and he'd get after it. Had the flow going back then. Just a nice young man, always a smile on his face. Pete Chandler. Number 28, Jason Hauser's not here. I called him up. I don't know how I got his number, but I got it. And he answered the phone. I said, Jay, we got practice at 4 o'clock. He's like, who's this? He goes, what kind of practice? I said, hockey at Maxey Hall. He goes, Coach, how you doing? I go, what are you doing? He goes, I'm on a ladder about 40 feet off the ground. He goes, I'm painting the house. He goes, I can't talk long. But he said he got the stuff, he can't make it. He said, just say hi to all the guys. He goes, tell McLean I'm not going to trip him in the knee, take him out in the knees anymore. Jason was the kind of guy, he played pretty hard. We were a little out of control a little bit out back there. But he said to, you know, give everybody his best. I did talk to him. One of our goalies is here today. Scott Jones came from Bowling Green, Ohio, and I believe has never left. If anybody doesn't, with hockey, when you dress 18 skaters, usually 18 guys play. Not all guys get an equal ice time, but usually everybody gets on the ice. Well, with goaltending, if you have 3 or 4, only one guy plays. And it's very difficult to be the guy that's not in there all the time because, you're there for practice. But Jonesy was a great team guy at practice every day. Like I said, we had a young group that back then that the younger guys in the team, they really supported the older guys, and then there was no jealousy. They worked hard, and Jonesy got some games in for us. I remember on the bench. If you look at the picture, Jonesy's right in the middle. He got the big smile, got the goat going there, looking good. Okay. Jonesy, I saw a guy. We saw Bowling Green play last year at Buff State, and there was an old guy with the team. The equipment manager asked me about you. He's still there. He wanted to know how Scott Jones is doing. So I said I'll be seeing him in another couple of months here. But I know your teammates, and I appreciate what you did for the team. Scott Jones. I kind of mentioned this other guy before. We'll go with Casey. Okay. He was my right-hand man for 4 years. Road trips. Sometimes that front seat was lonely, wasn't it, Casey, up there? Nothing worse than coming back from Buffalo or Fredonia after a tough weekend. That ride across 90, you get off 90, 81, and then the worst part was getting off 81 in Watertown and having seemed like forever to get back. When you won that weekend, the trip seemed to go so quick. And the only difference now is St. Anselm, our trips are so much shorter. So it's a little better on the road trips if you don't do well. But Casey did everything that I asked of him. Besides being our hockey manager, I think every guy in this team will tell you they treated him with respect. That's the thing that I noticed. When you have a manager, some guys, they thought, he's just going to sharpen our skates. He was as big a part of the team as Darren McLean, as Steve Knott, as Dave Dragone, as any of the guys that played a lot and were, Hall of Famers. Casey Nelson, best ever. Come on up, buddy. That year we won the SUNYACs. I had an assistant coach. He's from the same hometown I am, but I was quite a bit older. As the years goes by, it seems like the gap kind of shortens, but the numbers don't lie. I'm still older. He came to us from Hamilton College. And I remember him coming in the office one day, and we were talking about hockey. And when one of the guys came in the team, and we started talking about the year. And I think Keith played at Hamilton where it was pretty regimented. I don't think the coach really. He talked to the players, but the one thing that I had with this group, I was their coach, but I felt they felt they could come in and talk to me. Because you don't communicate with them, then you don't know what you get out of them. But he came up, and he was a young assistant coach. But what he gave me was he had my back. He wasn't behind the scenes talking. Like sometimes us as an assistant coach, the players will come to assistant coach and say, "What the hell is he doing? Why are we playing like this? Why are we doing this 2-3? What are we doing this for?" And sometimes I don't know what we're doing that for. If it was me, if I was head coach, I'd be doing that. So we've got to get rid of him. But Keith was never like that. Keith was a guy. He ends up now. He's head coach at Lake Placid High School. He teaches history. He coached at NSA. He's one of those guys. Hockey's his life. He's with the USA Hockey. He does all the clinics. He's in New York State, 15s, 14s, doing all the hockey stuff. But Keith, I probably, we've known each other a long time, and I just want to let you know that I couldn't have done it without you, just mentally, because you know what it's like. As Keith used to say, I used to drive Keith crazy. I'd always say, Keith, why? why is Machinsky doing that? Keith, we go, I don't know. He's like,
He's in the back of the bus. What do you ask him?
but Keith, I know the players appreciated you. I certainly do, and we're still friends to this day, and we'll always have this memory together. Keith Clark. And the last guy was one of our team captains. The first time I went to see Darren play was in Scarborough Arena. Do you remember what happened, Darren? Darren dropped the gloves out there. And obviously you can't fight in college, but yeah, I know. But Darren brought with him, I guess, an attitude of, you know, we can do this. When I came over here from Clarkson in 88, when I left Clarkson, the AD, a guy named Bill O'Flaherty, a Toronto guy, he goes, what do you want to go there for? I said, well, I have a young family. The Division I assistant coaching job wasn't, you know, you're on the road a lot. It wasn't really I would have stayed there, but I said, I want to become a head coach. He goes, well, you can't win there. You can't win there. So in '96, when we won it, guess who the first person to call me was? Bill O'Flaherty. Said, hey, I just want to let you know, I followed you. You did it, and make sure you tell your guys congratulations. So that was kind of a neat thing. And the reason we did win, it wasn't me. It's what you have standing over here. And you had a guy like Darren McLean who, you know, with Darren and Neil and Kobe and Jay and Mike Peters, we had a toughness. We had a toughness about us, not just physically tough, mentally tough. We were never out of any game. Like, I think the comment I made to Dan was, our team was best when things were uncomfortable. We were comfortable. We knew we could win a close game. If we just hung in there and hung together as a team, we could do it. And Darren was kind of the older statesman on the team, the captain, that knows we're not going to lose to these guys, and it came through. Obviously, a Hall of Famer, one of the top guys I've ever coached, Darren McLean.
I didn't know I was going to speak today, so I'm not prepared for this, but it's probably a good thing because you probably don't want to listen to me talk. But I guess I just want to say first, I'm very proud to be here today with these guys. Coach Sini mentioned a few of us that had the pleasure of being inducted earlier on, and I wasn't at the other guys' inductions. But knowing the type of guys they are, they probably said something very similar to that I said, that, which was, you know, a pleasure to be there, but it just didn't feel right. And this feels right to me. These are the guys. This is the team that should be inducted. And as proud as I was to be an individual, this is the time I was waiting for. And I can't say how proud I am to be here with these guys. And Coach Sini said it, and I agree with it. What made this team so special was it was off the ice and on the ice, how close we were, how much we played for each other. You know, some of these guys, we haven't seen each other in 15 years, and it's just like yesterday. It's an amazing group of guys. I think back to, you know, whether it was a wedding or birth of a child or the passing of a loved one, the guys that are there for you were some of these guys, and there's a lot of good groups here, and we'll be friends forever. And I can't tell you how much I think about, you know, those times playing with these guys and going back to those days and going back to some of those games and reliving the memories. It's a very special time, and on behalf of these guys, I'm very proud to be up here. And I'd like to say thanks to Jim, thanks to Coach Mitchell, thanks to Coach Sini and Coach Clark, and all the parents that are here and families, very supportive for us, and we're very proud to be here. And I do believe we deserve to be here. So thank you very much, and we'll behave ourselves tonight, I promise.
Hey, what do you say, folks? Let's stand up and hear for the champs, huh? Congratulations, fellas. we're going to get one here. You know, the worst part of any of these ceremonies is closing it. But obviously, we do have a lot of things in store for the rest of the day. I just want to mention to the team before we do take a picture, if you would, we have a ceremony between the first and second period. So if I could ask all of you to gather behind our team bench, a couple of minutes left in the period, so we can kind of organize that and get you out on the ice. And we have some other things for you at that point in time. So if you could, I'd appreciate it. We're going to close by wishing the best to our men's team a little bit later on tonight. I know you'll do us proud, not only tonight, but for the rest of the season. Good luck, Bears, huh? And one last thing, I know this is, and I close always the same way, special invitation, obviously, for this kind of ceremony today, but do understand that you need no special invitation to come and spend some time with us. Make sure you let us know when you're here. We'll do our best to spend some time with you and rekindle relationships and those kinds of things. So please come back. You know, we had, I guess a couple weeks ago, we had, or maybe it was last weekend, we had the foundation and alumni board back visiting campus, and we took them through the arena and showed them some of the things that we had done there. And one of the alums in the group said, hey, Jim, when is the best time for alumni? What is the best weekend for alumni to come back? And my response was every weekend. So make sure that you take me up on that. Come back and say hello. Thanks for being here. One last shout out to the 95-96 champs, huh? Thank you. Enjoy the rest of the day.